So we'll start now. Now, if you see, Ready API is a comprehensive tool, which is not only meant for virtualization, it is meant for multiple other things because it's a suite, you can say, which contains multiple different capabilities. Now, what all we can do? Ready API internally provides you capability of managing complex APIs from perspective of testing. Now, what all perspectives are there that we need to keep in mind? So functional test is what is the first thing that helps you to verify your service, whether created services are working as intended or not. You can also do security test. You can do performance testing by simulating load on your web server. And area of our interest is to see how actually Ready API works with virtualization, where we can virtualize our services and continue with the testing without having any showstopper. Ready API provides you capability of simulating complex behavior of a particular service which may be complex. For example, assume that you have to make call to Twitter API or Google API, location API. There are multiple APIs which are third-party APIs, and they charge you on basis of how many API calls you can make per day. Now, when we test, we don't know how many calls will be made to that. So we would like to save the cost, for which we will go with virtualization. And same thing we have done in case of wire mock as well. There you had better programmatic control, and Ready API eliminates need of knowing any development language, and you can manage diversified environments to test your APIs or to virtualize your API. It adopts all the existing standards, whether it is SOAP based WSDL, REST-based WADL, OpenAPI. It supports all. Apart from that, it also provides support for multiple different protocols, which includes HTTP, HTTPS, JMS, various different. And apart from that, it is extensible. You can add more and more plugins depending on your need. So that's the reason why we select or we go ahead with Ready API. So we'll start with the discussion first, and then as I told you that most of the things are there which we need to practically realize, because number of options that you will get on Ready API dashboards is really huge, and we need to be very precise in selecting those options depending on our task, what task we are going to play or what is our objective. Though you will have multiple different options, but we need to be very clear about what is our objective, and in order to meet that objective, what need to be done. As I told you that these are 4 different capabilities which are provided by Ready API: functional test, security test, performance test, and also virtual APIs. How it provides you this? Ready API includes various other products which are part of SmartDR itself. What all products? SOAP API for functional test. You have security checks. Internally, they have instrumented security test APIs as well. For performance, you can use Load UI. And for service virtualization, they have added something called as Service V. So it's a collection of all these capabilities in a single suite. That's what is Ready API. Now, let's go and see Ready API critical elements which are there. I found this diagram quite intuitive so that we can understand. So what all are the important things? You see, first is projects. You can have multiple projects. Then dashboard, you can curate your dashboard as per your wish. Integrations provides you additional extensions that you can make to your Ready API. You can have multiple environments and you can switch from one environment to other environment. Apart from that, you have Endpoint Explorer, which helps you to send arbitrary requests. Now, depending on type that you are going to use, your Navigator or Project Explorer provides you following options for every project that you create. First is API, then you have functional test, then you have security test, you have performance test, and you have APIs virtual. And this is what is Service V. It is provided by Service V component. So you can create a virtual service, you can create load test, you can test functionality of your API, you can explore your API definition from here. So it provides you very intuitive UI element that guides QA as well as testers in order to quickly test or virtualize the services. Now it comes in two different flavors, and costing depends on the flavor. You have basic and you have pro. Now what all is not supported by basic, that is what should be our area of interest. So if you see JMS, JDBC, TCP, you have to go with pro. Running virtual services on remote machine, you have to go with pro. Record request and response is in pro. Routing is in pro. Simulating server capacity and network bandwidth is in pro. So some of the critical tests which you can do or virtualizations that you can do are not part of basic. They are part of pro. So when you decide whether you will go with basic or you will go with pro, it heavily depends on what is your current requirement. Fine. So this is something about product. It comes in two flavors, basic and pro. Cost is around 1,20,000 for pro and basic is a bit cheaper.